Hi, everyone. Let's start lying down today in Shavasana. And you can use, if you want like a blanket or anything to begin, you can use that. I might take my blanket and just put it underneath my thighs. That's always relaxing for me. And you're just letting yourself unfurl to the earth and really let the body be supported by the ground. And catch your breath. Let it come in. And you can sigh it out the mouth. In these first moments of practice, it's always kind of a revelation how much time we spend not completely present with ourselves, how we really do need to catch our breath as we show up. Catching up to ourselves, letting the things that happen during the day kind of just fall into the past and letting anything that's going to happen later tonight or tomorrow, let those wait for the future and just be here now with the breath coming and going. Feeling the heels get heavy. Feeling the hips get heavy. Feel the shoulders get heavy. Feeling the skull get heavy. Noticing all these points of contact with the earth as points where you can release the body and really let the weight sink down to the earth. And noticing the reaction that comes from this release to the earth of the front of the body becoming a little lighter, a little softer. The belly softens. The chest is more open to allow the breath to flow and spread through the collarbones. The neck can soften. The face can soften. Hear the sound of the breath. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the portion of the Rāmāyana which I'll be working with in tonight's practice. Just stay here and rest and listen. The very end of the first book of the Rāmāyana, Rama has pulled the immovable string of Shiva's bow and thus won his bride, Sita. And they got married, and now they're on their way back to Rama's home in the city of Ayodhya. They're accompanied along the way with his father, his brothers, all of his family, the army, his priests, this whole entourage making their way back after the wedding to their home. And along the way, all of a sudden, there's all these birds circling in the sky and these animals. The animals are all like fine, but they're just kind of stirred up. That's an omen, and all of a sudden, after the omen, down from the sky comes another Rama, Rama Jamadagnya, who is an avatar of Vishnu, one of the three main gods of the Hindu cosmology. And it's no accident that he shares the same name as Rama. He's actually he's one of Rama's ancestors. And he comes down and he challenges Rama. He says, "Okay, you strung that one bow, Shiva's bow, but can you string this bow?" And he presents another bow, and it's Vishnu's bow, and Rama is one of the avatars of Vishnu. Both Ramas are actually. So he thought that he had kind of gotten through all these trials and he had matured. He's married. And all of a sudden he's confronted with this final challenge. Can he string Vishnu's bow? Take your deep breaths in, and on your next inhale, just hug the knees into the chest, and you can wrap your arms around your shins, just rolling from side to side. You might make circles with the knees, massaging out the lower back. So anyway, Rama's father is like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you challenging him?" Another challenge that seems to like so much. It seems like you're asking the impossible of this 16-year-old boy. But Rama is like, "Don't worry, I got this." And he does. He takes up the bow and in kind of youthful fashion of total self-confidence, strings the bow and twangs it, and the sound of the twanging string sends a resonance through the heavens. Switch the direction if you're making circles with the knees, just rotating around, noticing what's going on in the hips. But really what I'm interested in is this idea of Rama being confronted, needing to be confronted with this alternate face of himself. So after the twanging of Vishnu's bow, after he completes this challenge that Rama Jamadagnya has presented to him, that other Rama says, "Okay, I now recognize you as an avatar, an equal avatar of me," and he disappears into the heavens. So what does it mean to confront these alternate faces, these ancestral identities? How do we deal with like the past versions of ourselves, our visions of the future versions of ourselves? So just we'll return to this thought as we move through the practice. Bring your knees out wide, find a happy baby. You can grab for behind your knees on the thighs and pull the knees down on either side of your chest, or you can grab for the ankles, or you can grab for the outer edges of the feet. And just let it be very natural and intuitive. If it feels good to stay still, stay still. If it feels good to keep rocking, allow yourself to do that, just getting deeper into the breath. And it's quite common, obviously, to be named after somebody, and that name does carry with it a certain level of identification. So, you're named after your grandmother. Ideally, that's because you're to embody some nice qualities of your grandmother, to remember them in some way. If you're named after Rama, then you, in today's day and age, you are supposed to embody this avatar of Rama, have some of the righteous qualities of this prince. Every name carries a meaning. Let your legs come down, let the feet plant on the earth. Move any props out of your way. Let's just make some rolling movements through the spine. So with the feet planted down on the earth, about hips width distance and pretty close to the hips, so your fingertips alongside your hips can graze the feet. And as you inhale, lift the hips up. Opening through the front of the body, exhale, let the hips come down. Just rolling out one vertebra at a time as you land the hips. Let yourself feel that ground really spread beneath you. And then on your next inhale, you're lifting the hips. Let the arms come along for the ride too, stretching all the way up and overhead. And exhale, roll it down. The arms come down. Let the movement come together so the hips and the hands rest at the same time. And just flow with the breath there. So we're inhaling, stretching up. And exhaling, rolling down. So even from birth, Prince Rama has been associated with this other Rama that appears to him now. He's been referencing this avatar of Vishnu for his entire life, and now he comes to fully embody that. At least at this particular moment in time, he's gotten that direct from the source message. You now embody me, and Rāma Jamadagnya actually has to leave this human earth and retreat to a divine abode and allow Rama, the prince, to sort of take over this role on this world. A couple more times, just rolling up and down. Let your breath really land when you land in this world. And as you lift up, feel this potential expanding through the heart and exhaling, coming down, touching down to earth, finding that reference point, finding that inspiration. Because Rama's work, like the avatar Vishnu Rama, it's not done here. There's still a reason for Vishnu to incarnate to preserve the world. The next time your hips come down, let them come down, hug the knees in again, and just roll back and forth on your spine vertically, gathering a little momentum. And then eventually you're going to roll up and over, coming into a tabletop position. And when you get there, don't overthink it. Just start to keep that movement going. So it could be circles. You might be making hip circles. That feels really nice for me. If it feels better to move through cats and cows, we'll do both. So just do what calls to you first. And feel free to tuck your toes under. It might feel nice to do the hip circles, especially with tucked toes, to kind of spread into the soles of the feet. So much of Rama's journey throughout the Rāmāyana is sort of discovering this role of what it means to be this emissary of Vishnu, this avatar of Vishnu, to really truly realize like what the import of that is. If you're making circles in one direction, go in the other direction. Just flow with the breath, let it turn. And what's interesting to me about this instance, this first instance we get of Rama really being confronted with his position as an avatar of Vishnu, is that he doesn't hesitate. There's no, his father is hesitating, but Rama himself doesn't have any hesitation. He just takes it up and runs with it. And it's hard to do that. It's hard not to be paralyzed by all of the weight of history upon you. What does it take to just roll forward? Come back to your central position, tabletop, and from tabletop, keep the hips stacked on top of your knees and just walk the hands forward, letting the heart bow down towards the ground. The head might come down. You might find a block and put a block underneath the forehead. If the forehead doesn't easily reach towards the earth, keep your arms nice, active arms. Keep your feet active against the earth. And I think part of the reason that Rama doesn't hesitate in this moment is because he is so well trained in this art of archery. He's confident in this particular skill set, and he also has just proved himself as equal to these kinds of challenges. So he's riding high on confidence. So I guess that might make it a little easier to roll with the punches. But he also has learned from his gurus, his sages, Vashista, and his sage Vishwamitra, that part of what a hero's journey is to really just be open-hearted and be available. We're opening our hearts here to the ground. Take a few more breaths here. Let the heart really melt down. And then as you're ready, walk the hands back in. Let's take a twist. Inhaling to lift the right arm up to the sky and pause here for a moment. Let the gaze lift to the fingertips. Roll out your wrist. So we're making our body in this practice of yoga prepared for the tasks of life. And part of that is being able to cultivate this ability to really relax and find ease. And part of it is also that cultivation of strengthening. And we're doing a combination of both here. So press down into the hand and the ground, open the heart a little bit wider towards the sky. Take an inhale, and then exhale. Take your right arm and bring it underneath your left armpit. You're coming down onto your right shoulder. The hips can stay stacked on top of the knees, and your right side of your face will come down to the earth. The head rests. And really let yourself open here. You should feel a nice stretch through the side of your neck into your shoulder. And you might reach your left arm forward and just press down into the earth, kind of creating this nice strength between the hand pressing into the earth and sending the hips back. Just giving yourself a little bit more space, a little more openness. And working into our shoulders especially is nice to kind of cultivate this openness and this ability to speak when you need to speak, to act when you need to act, to not hesitate to express ourselves into the world. And then walk your left hand back in next to your face. And inhale, unwind the arm, comes all the way back up to the sky. Feel the space across the chest fill with the breath. And then exhale, your right hand comes down. Inhale, the left arm lifts. Same thing, different side. Beginning by finding this big stretch across the heart, across the chest. Roll out the wrist. Inhale. And then on an exhale, let your hand come down and under the right armpit, coming down to rest on the left shoulder, the left side of the head. And settle in here. Find that place where you feel this nice opening in the neck and the shoulder. See if you can let a little weight from the chest fall down into towards the earth, just opening a little deeper into the stretch. Just unwind it, walk the right hand back in front of the face and press down, inhaling, opening left arm to the sky. And exhale, hands come down, tuck your toes, lift your hips, find a downward facing dog. Keep your knees like really bent here so you can press down into the hands and send the hips nice and high. Let the head drop. And you might kind of like bend one knee more, straighten one leg, kind of walk it out and find where you can create space, where you can become more firm and expansive in yourself in order to kind of encompass and embody these different phases that we reference. So instead of being like oppressed by the relation to somebody who has the same name or someone you look like or whatever it is, just embracing that, allowing that to become part of who you are without losing your individuality, without losing your own agency. Let the heels start to drop down towards the earth, straightening through the leg, and just feel that expansion moving all the way, the whole length of the body. So from the fingers all the way down through the heels, there's this extension, this expansion. The breath can flow into the whole shape. Take an inhale and exhale. Walk your hands back towards the feet, finding that forward fold and using this as an opportunity just to create even more length. I feel like it's feeling really good to create length in the upper part of our spine, especially. So shift your weight forward into the ball mounts of the feet just a little bit so you can feel the spine release. Let your knees be as bent as they need to be to support your torso. And allow the head to really just drop down. So you can nod it yes and shake it no. And the neck is loose. And grab for opposite elbows. That might help you bring yourself a little deeper into this traction here, this lengthening. You might sway it from side to side. Again, it's like really intuitive practice tonight. So just really find where you can make space to meet yourself, your past versions, future versions. Take open mouth exhales wherever it's helpful. Let your hands drop down towards the earth, and on an inhale, just slowly feel the feet solid and roll up from there. So pressing down into the feet, and you can feel the spine unfurl itself. Slowly, slowly, slowly let the head be the last thing to rise. And when you arise in your Tadasana mountain pose, close your eyes and hone in on this central core of being, the line that runs down from crown to the heels, the solid connection of the feet to the earth. Heaviness of the shoulders. The fingers are just slightly active, like you're sending roots down to meet the feet, holding yourself steady. Hear the breath. Inhale, the arms sweep up overhead. Grab onto your right wrist with your left fingers and just exhale, lean over to the left. Press down into your right foot so you can still feel that connection is really strong. We're just extending and making space through the side of the body. And the gaze, let's turn it down to the ground in a nod to looking to our ancestors. And also keeping our practice a little more yin and ground based tonight. Bring a little micro bend into the knees just to make sure that you're not locking out anything, you're not blocking any channels the breath can flow into every corner. Inhale, come up through center, you're just switching your grip, and on an exhale, pull the left wrist over towards the right. Gaze down to the earth. Inhale, come up through center. Release the grip, and on an exhale, just cactus your arms, lifting the heart to the sky. Inhale, stretch the arms up. Exhale, let's do that again, just opening the heart. Inhale, arms lift. Last time here. Exhale, cactus the arms, lift the heart. Inhale, lifting the arms. Exhale, let the arms come down alongside the body, back to Tadasana. Notice if there's a little more freedom in your shoulders, have a little more length in the side of the waist. Bring your feet a little bit wider than hips width distance. And just start to bounce, letting the heels drop down. This has become a real favorite of mine as far as coming into yourself really fully, finding the steadiness. You kind of got to shake it up a little bit. So you're just dropping the heels down. It's called dropping the post. And your eyes can stay closed or you can open them softly. Breath stays nice and slow. And just stick with this, bouncing and breathing. And we're kind of shaking loose all this like stuff of our identity that actually doesn't have a lot of connection to like where we came from or where we're going. It's the stuff that we've made up that limits us. That makes it hard for us to meet past versions of ourselves. Sometimes it's hard to look at yourself as a teenager or as a younger person, or it's hard to imagine yourself as an older person. Let's just shake that out. Let it go. Keep it moving. Your calves might be feeling this a little bit. Stick with it. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let yourself land. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, let it out. Inhale, come up. Exhale, fold forward, let it out. We're sweeping it out. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, sweep it out. Let the breath go. You might let it go out the mouth. Last time. Inhale, come up. Exhale, come down. And let yourself hang. Put your hands on the earth. Let your feet come out wider, like pretty wide, 3 or 4 feet apart. And let yourself hang down from here. Feel the roots of the feet pressing down so all 4 corners are equally engaged on the mat. And you can feel the inseams of the legs turn on, the inner thighs turning in and back just so slightly. The head can drop heavy. Might feel really good to interlace the fingers behind your back and lift the fists up towards the sky. Make sure you don't lock out your elbows. Every time we're in a posture, you want to make sure that there's no locking in your joints. So there's still room for the breath to go to all those joint spaces, to continue down these whole long lines of the body. The head is heavy. You can nod it yes, you can nod it no. It's dangling down towards the earth. Release your hands if you have them bound down to the earth. Turn your toes out, your heels turn in, so you're still in this wide-legged stance, and just shifting the hips from side to side. So bend into the left knee, and then come through center and bend into the right knee, and move it with your breath. So I think it feels good to inhale, come through center, and exhale, set it down into these lunges. You're as you kind of come from side to side, the leg that's straightening, the toes can peel up off the ground if that feels good. Or it might be a little bit more of a subtle movement. Once more to each side. Then coming back through center, let's walk our feet in now. Still a little bit wide, but not so wide. We're going to sit down into our yogi squat. A great place for a block. You can sit down on the block.
And this way you can really focus on finding the floor with the heels and the whole feet spreading down into the earth. Hands come to heart center, elbows press into the knees, and you can feel the legs pressing back into the elbows. And there's a growth here, so there's a lengthening up through the crown. Trust and an intuition that we are moving forward, we're serving a function, carrying forth these names and faces through time. Let your right fingertips come down to the ground. Inhale, open your left arm up to the sky, finding a twist, opening through the heart. Let your gaze come down to the right fingers. Use an exhale to come back to center and just switch sides. So left fingertips come down. Inhale, open right arm to the sky. Exhale, come back through center. Move the block from underneath your seat if you're using that, and just come down to sit on your mat. Let your legs stretch out long in front of you. Sitting up tall, finding our Dandasana, our staff posture. You might want a support under your seat, just to really feel the connection to the earth again. It's like if the sitting bones are plugged down, you can access this source of inspiration that rises up from the earth, that connects us to the earth, that connects us to what came before, and what allows us to move forward into the future, lifting our crown up towards the sky. Bend your right knee, bring the sole of the foot to plant on the earth, pretty close to your right hip. We're going to take a twist, but make sure you keep, like, the feet are active against the earth. So feel that right foot grounding down. Feel the back of the left leg active, so you're pulling the left toes back towards the face. Feeling like everything is sucking into this core center at your root. Inhale, the arms lift up. Exhale, turning to your right. The right hand comes behind you. The left hand hooks around your right leg. Don't lose that connection to your legs, pressing down into the earth. Let your gaze look out towards your left toes, so out in front of you rather than back behind you. Looking where we will advance, where our face will go forward, how we can meet the future with the support of the past, the blessing of the past, without being restricted by the past. And feel the breath really rising through the whole column of the spine. Make sure your shoulders stay open, rolling down the back, keeping the chest open, the heart lifting, the crown of the head lifting, the spine long. Take an inhale. Exhale, unwind back to center. Let both legs come long. Back to your Dandasana, staff posture. And just lift the breath through this symmetrical pose and feel like the effects of the twist settle in the body. And then bend your left knee. We're doing the same thing on the second side. Start with the legs. Start with those roots, finding that firm foundation that allows us to rise up through the spine, Inhale, the arms lift. Exhale, twist to the left, finding the left hand behind you, supporting you. Right arm hooks left knee. Gaze stays forward. I think that's also nice. It gives you kind of a counter stretch through your neck, kind of accessing these muscles that go down through the front of the chest in a way that we don't often stretch out here. Roll the shoulder blades onto the back. Inhaling. Exhale, feel the navel pull to spine, connecting you more deeply to that core with every exhale. Take an inhale. And then exhale, release. Let the leg come along. Sit up tall. Bring the soles of the feet together. Let your knees come open wide. And grab onto your ankles. And pressing the knees down towards the earth, you can feel that sort of dynamic between the moving down of the legs and allowing for the lifting up through the spine. Keep the elbows hugged in towards your waist. Feel the heart get lighter with every inhale. Kind of finding this maximum length through the spine. Take one more inhale. And then on an exhale, hinge at the hips and pull yourself forward just as far as it makes sense for you. So might not be super far. The hands can walk out in front of you, keeping those soles of the feet pressing together, the knees moving down towards the earth, feeling that opening into the groin. Let your back of the neck be long, so the gaze is just gently down towards the earth. The face can be soft. Moving into receptivity. Holding and breathing. Noticing how every breath brings you a little deeper into this moment, and the posture being this moment. Inhale, push yourself back up to sit tall. Take your hands on either side of your knees, pull them together, and shift into a boat pose. So the feet can stay on the ground and you can just be lifting your heart up, really finding that engagement with the core. This is like the readiness. You're ready to string the bow and move forward. There's no hesitation. You might lift your shins up off the earth and really engage through the core. You can let your arms fly out alongside your legs. Lift them up overhead, straighten the legs if you're feeling really frisky. Just hold and breathe and sort of floating along these oceans of time, being in readiness. Smile a little bit. And inhale. Exhale, lowering the feet down. Taking any props out of your way. Let's come into a child's pose, just briefly bowing. Toes together, knees wide, or any other variation of child's posture that you like. Letting the heart melt down towards the earth, the forehead can rest. Let the breath fill the body completely. Use any props you like here too. Feel the shoulders soften. Slither forward onto your belly from here and just use that as a way to turn onto your back. You can pause on the belly if that feels good. Turning onto the back, kind of where we began. Same posture, just a different feeling. Take your knees into the chest. Find that happy baby again. Pulling the knees down on either side of the chest. Kind of ready to eternally be reborn, to eternally meet new faces. Let yourself come into rest, final rest, Shavasana, as you're ready. If you need a twist or any other final postures, please take your time and do that. We're just going to rest on the ground in Shavasana or wherever you are finding your rest. Feeling the heels heavy, the legs heavy. The hips heavy. Belly soft. Shoulders heavy. The arms heavy. The heart and hands open. Skull heavy.
throat and face soft. Finding yourself in the middle, what has gone before, what is yet to come, receptive and open. Unhesitating and peaceful.
Those of you joining on YouTube, I'm going to say goodbye now, namaste. Please remain in rest.